So at a special VR event at the Game Developers Conference, Sony just unveiled the release date and price for PlayStation VR. It is now confirmed PlayStation VR will launch at $399 in October. And this is what many people thought and hoped Sony would launch this device for, because it is a practical price for a very expensive technology. Now, very early on, when we learned about all of these companies heading into VR and we learned about the possible prices, we all thought that, even $400 might have been too expensive. But then we learned about how expensive VR is, and we learned about the price that other devices are launching at, such as Oculus Rift, which launched at $600. The HTC Vive launched at $800. Being practical, $400 is a fair asking price, and I would say a good medium for virtual reality, which, like I said, is a very expensive product and a new device. Even though virtual reality is not a new concept or invention, it's new emergence back into the market when the technology is now there to make it a better experience than it ever was. So I think it is a good middle ground from the company and business perspective and the consumer perspective. It is an entry-level VR device, and it will be the cheapest when it comes to the market in October. Of course, not counting those really flimsy, cheap VR devices that you might be able to find on Amazon for, maybe $50. That will probably, give you motion sickness and land you in the hospital. As far as, these VR devices made by these companies, which I guess you can consider high, medium to high-end VR devices. And PlayStation's VR device is on the lower end in terms of specs compared to the HTC Vive, which, like I said, is $800, or the Oculus Rift, which is $600. And speaking of the specs, the PlayStation VR will ship with a 5.7-inch OLED screen with refresh rates of 120 Hz and 90 Hz. The VR headset will support a field of view of approximately 100 degrees, feature 360-degree tracking, and offer latency of less than 18 milliseconds. Andrew House, president and CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment, also claimed that over 230 developers are currently making content for PlayStation VR. Content, that doesn't actually mean games. Content could be anything. And he said he expects 50 titles to be available for PlayStation VR when it launches in October. And he also confirmed the existence of a version of Star Wars Battlefront for VR. So Star Wars Battlefront supported with VR will be coming, which I think is a great way to at least get people thinking into trying out this device. You get a game that's already been established and you add VR to it. And it's been confirmed that DICE will be working on the VR version of Star Wars Battlefront. So, a lot of people are definitely still skeptical about VR, and whether PlayStation VR specifically will be successful. Because of the price and because it is, the cheapest device coming to market, I think it has the advantage of at least gaining an audience that at least wants to try it out. And they may want to make that investment and take that plunge and take the chance, but they may not want to take a chance with something like $600 or $800 like the Oculus Rift or the Vive. So I think that's what, that's the benefit and that's the advantage that at least PlayStation has with their VR device. And, according to many different testimonials from this year and last year, from people who've tried different VR devices, it's made a believer out of some people. And to speak on me personally, would I buy the PlayStation VR at this price? Yeah, I actually would. At this price, that actually doesn't bother me so much. That's not the issue. The price is not the issue for me. The issue for me is I'm going to need a game for which I think is worth having a VR device for. I need that killer app. And of course Star Wars is cool, but I got Star Wars on PC and I don't think Star Wars is a good enough reason for me to invest in PlayStation VR. So they're gonna have to give me a killer app, a game that I'm gonna look at and say, I really wanna play this, and I think having PlayStation VR is worth it. So let me know what y'all think about this. I'm out of here. Peace.